Hey, all, this is Reverend Keyes, and you're in Rick Keyes country. However, Rick Keyes is not in the country. Rick Keyes has been exiled to Mexico by the Brandon cartel, the crime syndicate of Brandon and his family. So Rick Keyes was exiled to Puerto Vallarta. I guess he's a little past Cabo San Lucas right now, trying to hitch a ride up north to Brandon's United States of America. So hopefully Rick Keyes will be back in the country. We'll see what happens. So anyway, this is Reverend Keyes. You can always tell Rick Keyes allows me to do a show, but he wants me to make sure that Rick Keyes gets advertisement for his show also. So Reverend Keyes, this is the end of part one. Hey, in part one, if you guys go back, you see Patio Keyes was involved in part one. So there's a cool Alligator record label 50th anniversary salute. And the special persons or the group was Sapphire and a lady that just put out a new release, Gay. We can't say her name because it's too hard. Gay. She's got a new release, and she's one of the founding members, co-founding members of the Sapphire, the uppity blues women. Okay, so let's finish part one. So part one, you heard the last song was from Lila Zoe. She's from Canada. Really great song called Praying Kind. And we will be praying for Rick Keyes that he does get back to his country of America while it's still America. Okay, so let's stay tuned. This is part one, finishing up. We've got Lone Star Mojo, Rough Around the Edges. So you're going to be hearing that in part one. And this guy, the band is Johnny Wheels and the Swamp Donkeys Keep Pushing On. Interesting story about Johnny Wheels. I was wondering about his name. Johnny is actually in a wheelchair, and that's probably Keep On Pushing where that came from. A lot of good music on that. And then my buddy, Scott Ellison. Well, actually, he's Rick Keyes' buddy. Rick Keyes' buddy, Scott Ellison from Oklahoma. He's going to be coming to San Diego on June 26th, I believe. It's in June, definitely. And he's going to be playing at Humphrey's Backstage. And I understand he's got a private gig that he's going to be playing for Rick Keyes in Oceanside, California. That's where we're at. Oceanside, California. That is the Rick Keyes broadcasting corporate headquarters. So Scott Ellison will be doing a private gig in Oceanside. I'm not going to say where as of yet, and then at Humphrey's Backstage. So Scott Ellison's got a brand new release called 0 to 60 by Scott Ellison. So brand new release. All right, now we are into the RMR chart. And for you people that don't know what the RMR chart, it's the Roots Music Report chart, and it's a collection. Well, basically, it's all the DJs, on-air personalities, internationally known on-air personalities like Rick Keyes, and the music they play for the previous week. So let's know what we got here. So at number 46 on that RMR chart, Roots Music Report chart, we got Nick Schneblin and What Key is Trouble In. We know what trouble Keyes is in. Rick Keyes, he's been exiled to Mexico by Brandon. All right, let's continue. At wow, this one moved up substantially, and it should, because this is actually a really great album, and it may actually make it to, I've heard, it may actually make it to the Rick Keyes top blues albums of 2023. Dyer Davis, Dog Bites Back. So he moved up from 89 to 42, back in the top 50. Big Shoes, they're at number 40, and it's the Fresh Tracks. Big Shoes and Fresh Tracks. At number 36, Jimmy Primetime Smith and Bob Quaratori with The World in a Jug. A lot of great songs on there. Bob Corritori's got a ton of great music. So that is at number 36. At number 25, we got Deuce and a Quarter. Keep Moving On. A lot of great music on that one. Misty Blues. This band, and this band has a brand new release. It's called Outside the Lines. I'm still trying to remember her name. But Misty Blues is the name of the band. They are at number 27, but they made it to the Rick Keyes Music Caravan Top Blues Release Albums of 2022, their previous release, Misty Blues. Okay, at number 26, Eddie 9V, Capricorn. He played at Winston's in San Diego recently. Rick Keyes saw him there and actually has some videos of Eddie 9V. Here's another one from Bob Corritori, and you heard him earlier with a new release. This one is Women in Blues Showcase by Bob Corritori and Friends. And that one is at number 17. Like that hair, he has got the hair. He's standing next to Coco Taylor. So what a special pleasure that is for him to have played with Coco the Great. Speaking of great, we got John Primer. Saw him. Well, Rick Keyes saw him at Humphreys backstage with Bob Corritori. And I believe there's some videos of that. John Primer live at Rose's Lounge is number 15. Okay. Deb Callahan. I knew there was something special about this release, and I knew it would move. Well, Rick Keyes knew it would move up quickly. It's at number 13. It was at number 1 or 2. Number 13, Deb Callahan, Backbone. It's what most of the politicians in Washington don't have, is a backbone, but Deb Callahan has one, and it's very good. Ellie Venable. She was way out. She was in the 80s before, and then suddenly she moved up, and she's in the top 10 again. Well, now she's at number 12, Ellie Venable, Real Gone. Some really good songs on that one. And last but not least, Alligator record labels, the Cashbox Kings, and the CD actually fell out of the case. You may not have heard that, but I am putting it back in so it doesn't get lost. Cashbox Kings, Oscar's Motel. They've been number 1 for the last 3 or 4 weeks, so they are still at number 1. There's lots of others in the top 10 that Rick Keyes can't play because there's some promoters out there that don't like Rick Keyes' politics. So anyway, you're not getting the whole top 10, but you are getting some of them. So stay tuned. Rick Keyes Music Caravan, hosted by Reverend Keyes. And yes, you're in Rick Keyes country. However, Rick Keyes in Mexico because of Brandon. You're in Rick Keyes country, needless to say. So stay tuned, and you can listen to the Rick Keyes Music Caravan by going to YouTube. And when you go to YouTube, you look for Rick Keyes Music Caravan. That's how you spell Keyes, Rick Keyes Music Caravan. Subscribe. Once you subscribe, there's a bell. You press that bell, and what that does is brings Rick Keyes and me and Patty and the whole Rick Keyes family into your life on a weekly basis, unless someone's on vacation. But seems like Rick Keyes, even when he's been deported, well, he hasn't been deported, even though he's been exiled, he is still has his family members like me filling in for him. So what else? So, and then there's a thumb icon. You press that. What that does is spreads the good news from ocean to ocean of Rick Keyes Music Caravan. Also, there's a like, dislike. Of course, nothing to dislike about Rick Keyes unless you're very liberal. Then you may not like him personally, but you should like his music. His music is just blues. It's not political blues, just blues. And then, okay, what else? And then you can also follow Rick Keyes Music Caravan on Twitter. Hey, Twitter is going to be big now that they've got Tucker Carlson. I might be competing with well, I won't be, but Rick Keyes may be competing with Tucker Carlson in the future. So Twitter is a big place to follow the Rick Keyes Music Caravan. And then last but not least, there's Facebook, Facebook, Zuckerberg, MetaFace, Face Meta, whatever the hell Zuckerberg is calling it nowadays. It's there. So stay tuned. Hopefully you enjoy the show, and keep praying for Rick Keyes that he does make it across the border without getting hurt, killed, injured, or a bad case of fentanyl. Stay tuned.